Hey guys, my name's Amanda and welcome to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here today. Let's jump right into DIY number one. I am going to show you how I made this absolutely gorgeous love coffee bar. So I began taking this little coffee bar that I had made at Christmas time. I took the words off. I had it in a Grinch style, but it is 9 little wooden drawers from the Dollar Tree. There's 6 in the back. There's 3 and then 3 more stacked on top, and then there's 3 in the front. So I had used 9. So I'm going to go ahead and take 6 more of these little drawers. I'm only using the outside, not the inside piece, but I'm going to take 2 of them, flip one upside down and put the other on top of it. And then I am going to glue the other one in front upside down. This is different from the middle of my coffee bar because in the front there's no opening. I wanted that little ledge there so I could set things on it. So hopefully you can see what I did there. I just did that a little different, but of course you could flip it back right side up and have that opening. Now I paint the whole thing with my Waverly Plaster chalk paint. And here is what it looks like. I'm just giving you a good view so you can see what I did. And then I'm taking this Love MDF cutout from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be painting that. I'm also going to be painting some Jenga blocks. So you will need 8 of them, and I'm going to form 4 L's. The reason I'm doing this is because the Love cutout is so large. If I were to just glue that to the front of my coffee bar, it would stand kind of funny. So I'm going to put these underneath the coffee bar as like little legs or little risers so that it stands nicely. So I paint these with my Waverly Ballet slipper chalk paint and glue them on to all 4 corners. And I'm also painting that love sign with the Waverly Ballet slipper chalk paint as well. So after we get all of these legs attached, I use hot glue, but you could use wood glue or E6000, whatever you like. Then I'm going to go ahead and take this love word and I'm going to glue it there to the front, making sure the bottom of the love is flush with my little legs there so everything sits nice. Then I'm going to take this Dollar Tree heart. I'm going to remove the love word and the little flowers from it. I also remove the hanger. So now what I'm going to do is paint that with that ballet slipper as well. And then I am going to glue it to the back of my coffee stand. At first I kind of had it at an angle, but then I turned it so it was a little more upright. So now I have this absolutely gorgeous sweater ribbon that I purchased at Michael's, 75% off. So I'm going to take a strip, put it around my heart, and I'm also going to put it around the first layer or the top layer of our coffee bar there, just gluing it in the back and then wrapping it around. I think that this is so adorable. Then I add the flowers back. My son is helping me here. We're adding the flowers back to the top. I don't show it on camera, but I do take a little piece of that sweater ribbon and put it in the middle of that love heart just to tie everything together. And you guys, this was so easy and so adorable. So again, we used 15 of those wooden boxes, and then this heart and the love sign. So a little more than I usually spend on a project, but so functional. Perfect for a coffee bar or even desk organization. There's so many things you could do with this. I definitely think it's worth it and so customizable. I am absolutely in love with this project. To be honest, it's one of the favorites I have ever made on my channel. I want to mention my inspiration for this project. Bargain Bethany does a lot of coffee bars, and also Chic on the Chief did a really cute one for Valentine's Day this year. So I gathered inspiration from them, but I really hope that you like this, and let's talk about today's challenge. So it is hosted by myself and my friend Brenda over at Rustic and Lace, and also my friend Chantel at Crafty Hens. You guys, these ladies, I always say are talented, and they are, but they're also so sweet and so kind. And as I've been sick and going through some things lately, they have taken time out of their day to check on me and see how I'm doing, and it just means so much. I'm so grateful for this community, and not only just fellow creators, but also people that have have become true friends and people that really, really care about you more than just YouTube or creating, but just kind, good people. The world needs more of them. So I will have them linked below as well as our playlist, and please check everybody out. Okay guys, DIY number 2. For this DIY, I'm going to show you how I made those little coffee mugs that fit perfectly on the edge of my coffee bar. I began by taking these 2 pieces from the Dollar General. They were $2, but if you can get them on clearance, they'll be even less. I removed the ribbons, and I'm going to give them both 2 generous coats of my ballet slipper by Waverly. After removing that little tag there, I use my heat gun. And then I'm going to use some caulking. Dollar Tree sells the push kind, which is what I have right now. I had cut the bottom off so I could reach it better as I have short thumbs. And then they also sell a tube. But I had no idea my husband had a caulk gun until he walked in and saw me struggling and said, "Oh, I have a tool for that." So I go ahead and squeeze this all over the top, and I am going to do that top ridge there too. So Bargain Bethany does tons of fake treats and fake milkshakes and all kinds of goodies. I know a lot of other creators do too. I always think of her when I use this because she does so many amazing things. So I will link her below, but I just use a little bit on there, and then I, like I said, go over that top layer too, and I'm going to leave that dry overnight. And after I'm done with that, here is a bunch of different options to decorate with, all from Dollar Tree. So I end up choosing a little bit of each. I put a couple of felt hearts and a flower and some of those little glittery hearts. Now I will say, I did learn later on in this video that if your caulk is hardened and you want to glue something to it, it's best to just use a tiny dab more of caulk, because hot glue won't stick to the hardened part. So I just later on this video I figured that out, and a tiny dab works really well. So here I am, I'm trying to use hot glue to glue this heart on, and that stayed okay, but when I put the flower in there it fell off. So that's how I learned a tiny dab of caulk will hold that onto the hardened part. Okay, so just finishing up this decoration, and while I'm doing that, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I'm so happy to have you here. Please consider subscribing and joining our little crafty family. If you've already subscribed, you're absolutely amazing, and I appreciate you. Also, please hit that thumbs up button. It's a free way to support your girl here on YouTube, and I appreciate it. So here is what these come out looking like. I hope you like them as much as I do. Alrighty, so for DIY number 3, this one's quick, easy, and inexpensive. I am going to take a Dollar Tree muffin tin that has these little heart shapes here, and I am going to paint it with my Waverly Ballet Slipper chalk paint. I do recommend taking a little sandpaper and roughing it up a little bit. The paint will stick much better. And I also recommend using a foam brush. This worked really well for me. Here I am just sanding the back a little bit with a sanding block that I had purchased from Dollar Tree, and then painting this. So once I get it painted, I then decide to paint every other heart with my Waverly Plaster chalk paint. Here you see I did all 3 on the bottom, and then I kind of changed direction. So whatever colors you like and whatever pattern you think looks nice. And then after I am done painting, I am going to give the whole thing a coat of Mod Podge. I can't remember if I show that or not, but anytime you paint over metal or glass, you definitely want to give it a coat of Mod Podge so it does not scratch off. And so here's what I decided. So I have pink, and then plaster, and then pink, and then in the bottom it's opposite. So I take this beautiful lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree that has little hearts on it, and I'm going to go around my pink heart with this using tiny dabs of hot glue. Now please be smarter than me and use some finger protectors. My fingers are pretty much immune at this point, but I'm just going ahead and pressing that down. So again, I'm going to do this to the 3 that have that Waverly Ballet slipper, and then I'm not not going to do it to the other ones, but to the other ones, I will place a little flower. So I just do a couple different colored little flowers that came on a sheet from Dollar Tree. They do have a little bit of glitter on them, but Dollar Tree also sells foam ones if you're lucky enough to find those. So then I'm going to use some more of that lace to put through that hole at the top for a hanger. So this was super, super easy peasy, and I love how it came out. I then take another little piece and tie that around the top of my hanger, and I can hang this on the wall or set it up. I do dry brush lightly around with my Waverly Plaster chalk paint just here and there to make some of the little indentions pop out, and I just think that that looks really, really cute. And then I just go ahead and Mod Podge. Of course, I don't Mod Podge over any of the decorations, but I just Mod Podge all around them to make sure everything stays nice. And here's what it looks like once it is all dry. So I hope you like that one, just over $1. So now for DIY number 4. This one is also really easy and also inspired by all of the creators that do fake treats on YouTube. So like I said, I'm going to link Bargain Bethany below because she's the one I've seen do it the most. But also Crossed by Caitlin, I've seen her use a glass cup like this. So I'm going to take my glass cup like I just showed it there, and I am going to paint the inside with my Waverly ballet slipper chalk paint, and then I'm going to come over to this little foam round that I showed, and I'm going to use caulking for the top, and I'm going to use a sponge brush that I can just throw away to kind of smooth everything out and get it how I like it. Now I get it nice, and then I do let it dry overnight, and I add a little bit more at the top just to give it a peak, because it kind of sinks down a little bit. So if you allow it to dry and then add more, that is a good way to puff it up. But I used about a tube on top of this little styrofoam round, and I did purchase this styrofoam round at the Dollar Tree. It almost fits perfectly down into my mug. It does sink down a tiny bit, but I put a little bit of paper towels under it. So here is what it looks like. It is not hard at all, and it's actually really fun and satisfying to do. And then with a sponge brush is perfect just to kind of make sure it looks all smooth. Bargain Bethany usually uses cake piping bags and things like that, but I'm just doing this. This is easy for me. I may do more projects like this and get a little more fancy. So here is what I was talking about with that cup. I take a sponge brush and put some of that Waverly ballet slipper on there, and then I just brush the inside of this cup, and then once that is dry, I'm going to Mod Podge over it, because again, anytime you paint glass or metal, it will scratch off if you do not Mod Podge it. And this just looks so awesome being on the inside of the cup. So I am using a dishwash safe Mod Podge, and I used a little bit too much. I had to pour it out. But I'm using the dishwasher safe because that's all I have on hand. It's not necessary. Then I put that little topper back in there once it had dried overnight, and I just kind of go around the edge there where there's a little bit of a crack. Just kind of go around that edge, and then I'm also going to add another little dollop on top. Now that it is hardened, my little dollop will stick up the way I want it to and look super cute. Then I use tiny dabs of this caulking to adhere the little hearts to the top, and I also use it to adhere the hearts to the outside of the cup. I put one on either side, and that caulking works really well to adhere these hearts to the glass. So here is what everything looks like together. I just think that this is so cute and so sweet for Valentine's Day. I really hope you guys like these projects. They are some of my favorites. Now I have a little bonus for you, a little bonus Valentine's wreath that I had made. I had purchased this wreath form on clearance at Michael's, 75% off, so it was about $6, which again is a little bit more than I typically spend, but it was just so pretty and so wintry and glittery. I just had to buy it. I also had some really pretty roses in my stash that have been in my stash for a while. I purchased them on a big clearance sale, and I just wanted to use them up. So I'm just going to show how I like to use leaves to fill things up. So I take this beautiful rose. This is the only one I had purchased recently at Michael's on clearance, but I'm taking all the leaves off and then I'm clipping my rose off. And I'm not going to be using hardly any hot glue because I want to be able to reuse this. So I'm just sticking that rose stem down in there under a piece of that wreath form there. So I'm doing that, and then I'm going to go ahead and tuck these leaves around it to again fill it out. So here with these beautiful roses, I'm going to take all of these leaves off, and I'm just going to go ahead and stick the flowers down on either side of my pretty white or cream colored rose, and then just fill these leaves in around. So the leaves are the only thing I'm using teeny tiny dabs of hot glue for, because I know I can get that off with no problem at all. So then just continue the process and put as many or as little as you would like. I just kind of do that one side. I just think that that is so pretty, and I almost always add a bow to everything, but for this one I didn't want to add a bow. I just wanted it to be these gorgeous, wintry, elegant florals. So I just use what I have, and like I said, I utilize these leaves, and I just love the way that this green looks. Lastly, I take some of these teeny tiny little pink flowers and tuck them in on either side, and I just think that this is so sweet. Enjoyed the video today, and please check out our playlist and stay safe, friends.
You can subscribe to my mom's channel, and thank you for watching today's craft and stay safe.